The Australian Grand Prix is the center of attention in the Formula One world, especially because of Lewis Hamilton's debut with Ferrari in free practice. The presence of the seven-time world champion in his new car, the SF25, was met with great excitement by fans and observers. After completing FP1 and FP2, Hamilton made a surprising statement, revealing that his adaptation process is still ongoing. What will Hamilton's performance be like next, and will he be up to the challenge with Ferrari? Let's discuss it. Hamilton, who is in his first year with the Maranello-based team after more than a decade defending Mercedes, experienced a rather challenging FP1 session. He finished the session in 12th place, 0.8 seconds slower than session leader Lando Norris. He was also 0.6 seconds behind his teammate, Charles Leclerc, who secured second place. One of Hamilton's main problems was difficulty controlling the car, even complaining that he couldn't turn the car properly. However, Ferrari and Hamilton immediately worked together to solve the problem, which resulted in an improved performance in the FP2 session. In the second free practice session, FP2, of the Australian Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton showed a promising increase in performance. The British driver looked more competitive than in the previous session and even managed to lead Ferrari to a 1-2 with Charles Leclerc. Unfortunately, towards the end of the session, he was relegated to 5th place, 0.4 seconds behind the session leader. Nevertheless, his gap to Leclerc is getting smaller and smaller, which indicates that Hamilton is beginning to understand the characteristics of his new car better and is able to bring out its best potential on the track. Ferrari themselves seem to be more competitive in Melbourne compared to their performance in the previous series in Bahrain. This can be seen not only in their FP2 times, but also in the comments of Lando Norris, who predicted that Ferrari would be faster in Australia. The Maranello team also showed a promising performance in the long-run simulation, especially in terms of tire degradation. Compared to the previous race, Ferrari's tire degradation appears to be more controlled, which could be a key factor in their strategy during the race. If this positive trend continues, Ferrari has the potential to be more competitive in qualifying and the race. After 2 challenging free practice sessions, Lewis Hamilton made a statement that illustrates how he is still getting used to his new car. The British driver admitted that the transition from Mercedes to Ferrari has not been easy, but it has been an interesting experience. It's been a very interesting week. It feels great to be driving a Ferrari here. To be honest, the feeling is very different from what I've experienced before. FP1 was quite difficult, but FP2 was better. We are slowly building up speed and understanding the car better, said an optimistic Hamilton. He also compared the SF25 to the Mercedes car he has been driving for the past 12 years. According to him, the differences are quite significant, both in terms of the characteristics of the car and the approach to driving it. This car feels very different, but not in a bad way. It's just that this car requires a different style of driving, so I'm getting used to it bit by bit. There are some technical aspects that require a new approach, such as the way the brakes are applied, the weight distribution, and how the car reacts to changes in settings. I'm enjoying the challenge, he added enthusiastically. Hamilton also reflected on his long journey in F1. He felt that this moment reminded him of the beginning of his career, when he first competed in the world's premier motorsport event. I started my F1 journey here with McLaren in 2007. It was an incredible experience full of challenges and excitement. I was young at the time and eager to prove myself. Then joining Mercedes was also a big moment in my career, where I achieved so much success and learned a lot about team dynamics and car development, he said. Now, wearing Ferrari's signature red uniform, Hamilton feels a new spirit. Starting a new chapter with Ferrari brings a feeling that reminds me a lot of my first year in the sport. There is a sense of expectation, the challenge of understanding a new environment, and, of course, the desire to do my best for the team. I am really looking forward to this season and hope to achieve positive results, he said hopefully. Hamilton also acknowledged the hard work of the Ferrari team in welcoming him and helping him adapt. He said that everyone in the team had worked very hard to ensure that he felt comfortable in the new car and was getting the best performance on track. Everyone on the team has been amazing. They welcomed me with open arms and helped me adapt as much as possible. I felt their passion and commitment in every aspect, from car development to race strategy. This is the beginning of something very special, Hamilton concluded. Although Lewis Hamilton's performance in free practice did not match that of his teammate Charles Leclerc, the Ferrari team remains optimistic about the 7-time world champion's development. Hamilton's arrival at Ferrari brings with it high expectations, but the team believes the adaptation process will take time. Frédéric Vasseur, as Ferrari team principal, emphasized that there is no reason to worry too much about the results of the first, FP1, and second, FP2, free practice sessions, as they are not the main measure of true potential. He recalled that situations like this have happened before and that the final results on race day are often very different from what is seen in practice. Last year, Carlos Sainz was quite far behind Hamilton in free practice, but in the end he managed to win the race. This shows that the most important thing is not just speed in a session, but understanding the system, the software and solid cooperation with the team, explained Vasseur. Ferrari also understands that the challenge ahead is not only about speed on a dry track, but also about how the team and drivers adapt to the various conditions that may arise during the race weekend. One of the main factors that has the potential to affect the course of the Grand Prix is the weather. According to the forecast, there is a possibility of rain on race day, which could make the competition even more unpredictable. With wet track conditions, strategy will be even more important. Small mistakes in tire selection or pit stop timing can have a big impact on the final result. However, Ferrari have reason to be confident, especially given Hamilton's track record in the wet. When the track is wet, everything can change drastically. But we also know that Hamilton is one of the best drivers in the wet. If he can overcome the challenge of adapting quickly, we can see an extraordinary performance from him, said one F1 analyst. With an improved performance in the second free practice session, FP2, there are high hopes for Saturday's qualifying. Ferrari have an important task to ensure that both drivers are competitive and able to break into the front row if they are to continue to compete in the Constructors' World Championship. Competition from top teams like Red Bull and McLaren is getting tougher, so every qualifying session and race will be crucial for Ferrari's chances this season. One of the main highlights in the Ferrari team is the development of the adaptation of Lewis Hamilton, who has just joined the team after many years of defending Mercedes. Although still in the process of adapting to the characteristics of the Ferrari car, his performance in FP2 showed positive signs of progress. Sky Sports F1 analyst, Martin Brundle, said that although Hamilton still needs time to fully adapt, he is on the right track to becoming a serious threat on the grid. If he can continue to improve his performance, both in qualifying and in the main race, then Ferrari will be a force to be reckoned with in the title race, Brundle said. On the other hand, Charles Leclerc is also a key player in Ferrari's strategy. As the team's longest-serving driver, he will be expected to provide stability and consistency, especially against the likes of Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. With the potential for different strategies between the two Ferrari drivers, the team will need to ensure a solid working relationship in order not to lose momentum in the competition this season. Now, Ferrari and Formula One fans in general are waiting to see if Hamilton can immediately catch up with Leclerc and prove that he is still one of the best drivers on the grid. The challenge is even greater as the weather forecast shows the possibility of rain on Sunday, which could provide a surprise in team strategy and race results. With track conditions predicted to be slippery and difficult to predict, the Melbourne Grand Prix promises to be an exciting and dramatic spectacle for racing fans around the world. Can Hamilton adapt to Ferrari faster than expected and lead the team back to winning ways? Write your thoughts.